So yeah, we're just getting ready to start the game for tonight. Uh, we're going to have Freedom versus Sheik, and I'm joined here by one of the other players in the league, Hurt in Time. How's it going?
It's going well. I'm looking forward to seeing this game.
So, have you seen Sheik play before?
I played him a while ago, um, but I don't remember too well. I'm more familiar with Freedom. I've, you know, played him quite a bit, so
Sure, sure. He is pretty impressively good.
yes, he is. Definitely.
I think his Diamond League is a bit of a trick.
Well, we're all working back up our rankings, so I'm sure he'll get back to Masters soon.
He hasn't for a couple of seasons, but like I said, I think he's just sandbagging to try not to make the rest of us feel too bad. Interestingly enough, he's rolling random this game and wound up with Terran, which will be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I like his Terran style. He likes to drop a lot, multiple places at once while he builds up a big nasty 3/3 Marine
Well, that's where
medevac armor.
it's really where his APM and his multitasking abilities really kind of shine. So, and yeah, up here, again, in the top left, the orange Freedom playing as random and spawned as Terran. And down in the bottom right, we have the yellow Zerg Sheik. So as far as I know, this is the first time these two have played each other. Freedom, of course, was the champion of this tournament last season, looking to defend his title. He does have a bit of an advantage just, on paper in leagues as a current Diamond player against Sheik, who I believe is currently Silver, but with the season having just recently restarted, it's hard to go just off of that. We're not seeing anything too out of the ordinary yet at this point from either player. Freedom is going barracks before gas, so he's not going for a super fast Reaper, but I would still probably expect to see one of those. It does look like Sheik is going to go hatch before pool, which is a little bit greedy, but probably a pretty safe opener in this particular matchup. This map is a little bit Zerg favored in general, if only because of the incredibly wide ramps at the natural that makes it really hard to wall off and keep that natural safe. The main, of course, is the standard 3 building wall.
Yeah, and the rocks from behind at the natural can also be, broken, and basically there's two ways in
Yep,
when
that
that
can
happens.
that can be a very nasty surprise. I hate those rocks. This is pretty definitely a Zerg favored map. I think it's safe to say. That first Reaper is about to pop for Freedom. Expect he'll send it across the map, try to do some damage, at the very least get some scouting, but maybe pick off a drone or a ling or two while he takes his own expansion. Now, the expansion from Sheik is finished, and the first lings are getting ready to pop out, which will be just in time to greet this Reaper. It's really going to come down to Freedom's control and Sheik's reaction time to see if he gets anything done. He is getting some shots off on those workers, though, and even
Yeah.
manages a drone kill. I mean, this is really great for Freedom. Any harassment he can do will pay dividends. It does get chased off briefly, but he is going to get a little more damage done at the natural until that queen spawns. But he does manage to get another probe or another drone first. 2 drone kills doesn't seem like a lot, but this early in the game, that's a huge blow to the economy. Looks like the factory's coming up now from Freedom, along with the reactor. I would guess he's probably going to transition into Hellions or Mines. And in the meantime, Sheik is taking his third. So, I mean, what do you think? What do you expect Sheik would want to do here in this position against Freedom?
I think he should just, expand with, queen support. I'm expecting Freedom's going to make six Helions and just poke a little bit, see if there's a third, and that'll tell him, if it's safe for him to be greedy or not.
He does definitely look like he wants to be greedy. He's got a third command center of his own going down, the 630 mark, which is quite early. And sure enough, the first couple of Hellions are getting ready to pop out. Sheik is responding, of course, with a metabolic boost to get that Ling speed out, which is a great choice. Freedom is transitioning to Widow Mines, though, and going with a second factory. So it does look like he's going to be favoring a mech style here.
Interesting. Well, at least Sheik is able to see the second factory going up.
Yeah, and he sees the third command center, which is incredibly useful. If nothing else, it'll let him know that Freedom is probably not going to make a huge push anytime soon. And let's see, Sheik is going roaches and starting to get his evolution chambers down. This will be good. He's just kind of forming a bit of a wall at his natural, and teching up is always a good choice. Roaches aren't terrible against the low-range mech units.
This second Overlord being taken out is gonna really set Sheik back.
It didn't, thankfully doesn't supply block him, but yeah, he's gonna have to spend more resources getting those Overlords going, and it didn't really scout anything too useful. He is going for a Spire, which I actually like. He hasn't seen a whole lot of bio. He knows that all the factories are there, and mutas aren't a terrible response to mech. At least until Thors come out. The Hellions have swung in on the bottom to the third and have gotten a couple of kills in. I mean, 7 worker kills, I think, so far from those. And he is getting chased off by those Lings. One of the Hellions does fall. But that's, again, a pretty impressive amount of worker damage for a really minimal investment. There are a couple of roaches starting to move across the map. This doesn't really feel like a big enough force to get anything done. Yeah, I think he's mostly just scouting out the map a little bit, trying to take a little bit of map control. Freedom is getting Blue Flame and 2 more command centers. He's got to be feeling really confident. Now we do have missile attacks and glial constitution coming out of the Zerg, which is excellent. Freedom just started his 1-1 as well, so this will keep the Zerg player on a reasonably level footing.
Right now, Freedom doesn't have much to deal with those roaches. If Sheik attacks that third expansion with those roaches, he'll probably force a lift.
Yeah, I mean, those Hellions with Blue Flame can do a reasonable amount of damage, but roaches are so tanky. He'll really be counting on those Widow Mines to get a few good shots off and see what he can do with any bio reinforcements. But while he has several factories, he just doesn't really have a bio force to speak of. And he's continuing to produce Hellions, which is an interesting choice. I don't think he has really seen the roaches, though those Hellions that just swung by should have seen it. And he will spot the 4th. this is actually great. The little push on the fourth is going to force all of those roaches back and buy him a little bit of extra time. The real trick is going to be those mutas just popped and can swing in and do a ton of damage.
Well, hopefully Sheik hides those mutas. You don't want to
Nope, there
show
they
your
are.
hand. Well, surprise is not gonna be there now.
Yeah, but he did keep that fourth base alive, which is very valuable. It is going to be hard for those mutas to really get anything done, though. There are Marines are really starting to come out now, and there are quite a few turrets. That said, Freedom has kind of screwed up at his natural. He's missed some of his gas. The left gas at his natural only has one guy on it. And in the meantime, just solid macro all around it. He's building another extra command center.
What is that, a
Was
forward?
spotted.
A forward command center? I guess he was gonna do a planetary, perhaps.
I was gonna say a scout command center.
Oh, here comes a blue flame pain here on the drones.
Yep. Oh, those drones just getting roasted. I mean, so many kills on these Hellions. And the mutas will clean this all up. But economically, I mean, 67 SCVs to 49 drones is not a position you want to be in. Especially at this point, Freedom has so many extra orbitals that he could basically just sack all of his workers and mule all day long. He's getting the transformation servos, which is interesting. It kind of indicates that he wants to be able to switch back and forth between Hellions and Hellbats. But he doesn't actually have like any Hellions at the moment. He's got 2 left, I think. And 2 more command centers. Wow. Unfortunately, it looks like this Muta flock is going to come in just before the turrets finish. The turrets are pushing him back. Oh, they're flying right into the natural. While those roaches come in, they're actually getting a lot of damage done. This attack is actually going really well for Sheik. Freedom should be able to push this back without too much problem, but he lost a lot of supply in that. He lost a lot of workers. Again, thankfully, he does have so many command centers, he can just mule quite a bit, but that still was an excellent attack. My only complaint would probably be that Sheik, I think, overcommitted and dropped a little bit more supply than he needed to.
Yeah, agreed. Especially those last few mutas that just flew in at the end for, they weren't going to do anything.
Yeah, and now this gives Freedom kind of a window to really push forward because Sheik doesn't have a lot of units. Now he is replenishing as fast as he can with a lot of Lings and a lot of mutas. But this is a pretty reasonable bioforce coming out of here from Freedom. I'm just not sure that Sheik has the economy necessary to push this back.
Yeah, the fourth is definitely vulnerable, but he is making banelings, which, if Freedom doesn't control his Marines well, can really make a ball of Marines disappear very fast.
Yeah, I have to assume that he's counting on his Widow Mines and his Hellbats to really tank that. Oh, those are some great Widow Mine shots.
I'm not sure why he sent all his Lings in without the banelings. Maybe he didn't know that the Marines were there.
Yeah, now there is a counterattack here from the mutas going into the natural. They take some damage. There is some defense there, but Freedom's being a little bit slow to react. There you go, he's finally taking care of that while he does do some counter-aggression of his own. There's some good connections with the Banelings, and Freedom loses track of a couple of units and gives them away for free. And I mean, honestly, Freedom's ahead in supply, but he's not that ahead. And Sheik is doing an excellent job hanging on here. This drop, though, down at the fourth is doing tons of damage, and if Sheik isn't careful, it will take it out. There is, of course, also drops going on in the main, which he has pushed back for now and is going to use Mutas to try to clean up. But I think the Bioforce here is actually just going to kill all of the Mutas. And yeah, this is just what you predicted, honestly. It was, a lot of Terran drops in multiple locations, doing a lot of damage and kind of pulling the opponent apart.
Yeah, I think Sheik should focus fire those dropships before the Marines.
Yeah, absolutely. And now the main is just getting killed. He's going to snipe the Spire. Sheik seems to agree with my assessment that Marines are pretty good. And at this point, Freedom's in a really good place. He's got 4 bases, he's got a lot of orbitals, he's got a couple of planetaries. He could just start throwing away SCVs to free up supply if he wanted to, though he is actually supply blocked at 157. He's forgotten to build supply depots for a bit, I think.
Yeah, his 4th expansion there with 2 planetary fortresses is going to be very difficult to break.
Though I do like his approach. Why build supply depots when you can just build more command centers? With 2 additional ones going down on the left, directly in front of an Overseer and an Overlord. There is a push that's getting ready to come here to try to break down the 4th. Unfortunately, Freedom's army is on the complete wrong side of the map. While those planetaries should help defend it, I don't think it will be adequate. But he didn't bring those Banelings in fast enough. There's a lot of repair going on here. They actually might be okay. The Mutas, I think, are the only hope. Yeah, with all the turrets sniped, they could clean that up. The Mutas are actually being pulled back. And 4th, because Freedom is pushing in, he just took out the 4th and is going to get ready to move into the 3rd.
Yeah, it looked like Sheik was trying to get the SCVs with the Banelings instead of the planetary fortresses.
Yeah, he's target firing the planetary, so he's gonna get at least one of them, but those turrets are coming up and are gonna help push this back a bit. Even if he does clean that up, though, Freedom has 2 more planetaries on the other side of the map, and tons of orbitals for mules, and he's just kind of pushing in and taking out all of the economy and production capabilities of Sheik.
Yeah, that is just a lot of Marines coming at Sheik's base now.
Just the line of Marines marching across the map of impending doom. Thankfully, he does have Freedom supply blocked again, but there's just way too much stuff. There's some good Baneling connections there.
Yeah.
Clean up a lot, but there's way too many reinforcements. And at this point, Freedom's about double the supply of his opponent. He's on more bases. This game's really over unless he makes a huge mistake. And he's just too far ahead. And man, this is where that that Diamond Master League macro really kicks in. He's got tons of SCVs not doing things. He's mined out of a lot of bases. He doesn't have enough, but it just doesn't matter. He has so much money and so many bases and so many mules and so many barracks that he can just flood whatever he wants all day long and just push through his opponent.
Yeah.
There's drones wandering the map trying to find a safe haven and just running into packs of Marines and dying. It does look like there's going to be a last stand made here by Sheik, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. Those Widow Mines took care of the vast majority of those Banelings. And now there's even Thors getting built, which should just be the final nail in the coffin, assuming it even makes it to that point. A bit of a doom drop coming into the main here. Does need to be careful about stimming those Marines, though. Those are some very dead Marines at the front. And there's the GG
Well,
from
there's the
Sheik.
GG.
I mean, a really excellent game from both players. Sheik held on phenomenally well against a player who, on paper, should have just kind of crushed him. And I mean, the APM, everything. Sheik just played super, super well. Tons of respect and mad props for him for playing a great game. Do you have anything you want to add before we sign off?
No, it was a good game. There's just a skill gap there that you know was quite noticeable, but it was a very good game.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks a lot for joining me for this cast.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And we will see you guys all again soon, I hope.